What's up, dude? Today we're gonna turn this frame and box of parts into a running moped. I threw everything on the table to get a look at what I was working with, and I already found an issue with the stator. There's a frayed wire on the ignition coil. So I fixed that with a little bit of heat shrink tubing and then soldered the wire back into place. There were also no points on the stator, so I threw in some that I found in my box of parts, making sure to route all of the wires correctly this time so that nothing gets frayed, and then just double check the resistance of the points with my multimeter. And everything was looking pretty good, so I installed the stator. Okay, so now I'm missing the cam that goes on here. Gotta find that. I can try to get this one off. Woo! There we go. I installed the woodruff key in the cam that I got off that other bottom end, and then the last thing I had to do with the stator is set the point gap. The rings and the piston were also pretty seized, so I hit them with a little bit of PB blaster and worked them until they loosened up. But I still needed a cylinder, so I went back to the other bottom end that I've been robbing parts off of, and I opened it up, and that thing was terrible in there. But since I'm a hoarder of Hobbit parts, obviously I had another one sitting on the shelf. This one isn't looking too great either, so I'm gonna throw it in the parts cleaner for a little bit. And this is how it came out of the parts cleaner, so this is what we're gonna have to work with, because I don't have a hone or anything else to clean this thing up. So on the bike it goes. And before I put the carb on, I also added these carbon fiber Polini reeds. Should give a little bit better response in bottom end. And real quick, just before I throw it on the subframe, I checked the spark, and it does look like we have it, so everything's going together. I do want to add one more little upgrade to this thing though, which is some higher stall clutch springs. Usually I use yellows, but all I have today are some blues. So that's what we're going with. And my buddy J-Bot taught me this method for installing springs, and it's definitely been super helpful. First you get one half of the spring in place, and then you pass a shoelace through it. Next, you'll wrap the shoelace around your foot and stand on it, and then pull on the clutch to stretch the spring into position. You might need to tap it with a hammer to get it that last little bit of the ways in, but yeah, this method works great. Thanks, J-Bot. Okay, we're getting really close to getting this thing started. Just gotta put the exhaust on, and the rear wheel and transmission. I'll need to change these tires for sure, but they're holding air, so for now I'm pumping them up, and we're gonna work with what we got. And finally, we throw on the belt for the transmission, and we're ready to give this thing a shot. I'm just gonna fuel up the tank and see what it does. And I got nothing. Spark plug's a little wet, so cylinder is definitely getting fuel. And it feels like I have compression too. I'm really hoping the issue isn't electrical, but I think I'm gonna have to do a little bit more diagnosing and find out.